please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Lots of action over the next 30 minutes, but first let's talk about how the Lal Street fared today. It was a lackluster day of trade with most indices seeing seesaws across the board. So there was red at one point, green at one point, but the day ended with slim losses. The Nifty ended just shy of the 10,800 mark. The Sensex shed roughly about 74 points. Bank Nifty followed suit to end absolutely flat with a negative bias. Mid-caps continued their underperformance, and this has been the fifth straight session where we've seen the mid-cap index underperform versus the blue chips and end about 0.4% in the red. Anuj Singhal is here with a wrap of today's trading action. Anuj, seems like we are stuck in a narrow range. Not a great start to the week, clearly.
Well, the markets are stuck in a bit of a range, and that range continued today. There were 2 or 3 themes which played out. One is oil marketing companies did well because crude oil prices were down and down significantly. The other is that select pharma stocks, Dr. Reddy's in particular, saw buying at lower levels. And third, metal stocks were down, and that's perhaps because of global play and trade war fears. Some of the day perhaps was ICICI Bank. Big buying on that one. News reports again about what's happening with Chanda Kochhar. The market wanted to believe that, so the stock was up about 3.5%. All marketing companies did well, so HP, BP and IOC were all higher. Other index gainers today included Dr. Reddy's, Tata Motors and Eicher Motors, while metals were down, so Hindalco, Vedanta, Tata Steel all lower. In the FNO space, there were some big gainers like Bajaj, JP Associates and Stride Shasun, while there were some big losers as well, Torrent Power, NCC, PC Jeweler and Madan Sumi. All in all, the market's verdict is very clear. You have to buy the dips, you have to sell the rally, and you have to basically scalp the trading range, or you have to be in perhaps some good sectors like pharma. Overall, let's see if this range is broken. For now, it doesn't look like you have enough triggers to break the range.
Okay, that's not really a great start. Really, thanks, Anuj, for joining in with that. Let's get some important market opinion going then. The current correction of the last is expected lines and is actually a good correction. That's the word coming in from market veteran Shankar Sharma. Speaking about oil, he says we are still in oil bull market and it continues to be a genuine risk for India. Here's his rationale.
It's particularly in the small cap end of the market. If you're not prepared for a 20-30% cut like this, there's no business being there. We had a great 2017. The market was due for a correction. It was not due for a bear market. This is not a bear market. This is a good correction in an overall still what is a very strong small cap bull market. I still believe we are in a bull market. That continues to be a genuine risk for India. We all know it. And I always said India trades with liquids. One is oil, one is water. Water being the monsoons. So our economic fortunes are on one side it's oil, the other side it's just monsoons. We'll see how the monsoons go, but oil is problematic. But therefore, I still need to have a view or find investments, and that's why the small caps offer a very good place because they have nothing to do with oil prices or RBI's policies or even the politics of the country. But the large caps will be not bad, but don't expect blowout things from this stock market 1 year out.
Okay, so even if there is a correction and even if there is a range-bound trade that we are seeing at this point in time, Shankar Sharma believes that this is an unexpected line. Let's get to the big stock in focus today. The board of ICICI Bank is in a meeting to discuss the fate of its MD and Chief Executive Officer, Chanda Kochhar. Now, we learned from sources that the board may decide to appoint an interim CEO while the independent probe on the Videocon case is underway. The board will also ratify the appointment of Justice Sri Krishna, who was appointed to head the independent probe committee in the Videocon case. In fact, the stock rallied over 3.5% at the back of this story. Ritu Singh is here with the details. Ritu, what are you picking up from your sources? The ramblings on the possibility of this happening were going on for quite some time. But what can we expect today?
Well, the key thing on the agenda is actually the ratification of Justice Sri Krishna's appointment to head that independent probe committee. But more importantly, what will be the fate of its CEO and MD, that is Chanda Kochhar, in the midst of all these controversies surrounding the Videocon case? That is something that the board may take up. Now, do remember, even when we spoke to Justice Sri Krishna earlier, he did indicate an inquiry of this nature or a probe of this nature could take well up to 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer. Therefore, the bank cannot really remain headless at that time. Chanda Kochhar, according to the bank statement to exchanges on the 1st of June, was on a planned annual leave that she actually started a few days before 1st of June. And from our sources, we understand she was supposed to resume office this week, which she hasn't done so far. So, no word on whether or not Mrs. Kochhar will be resuming, but there are various reports in newspapers also today that suggest suggested that the chairman of the bank, that is ML Sharma, he sought the opinion of the board on whether or not co-chair should be asked to go on an indefinite leave. The other reports also, as far as the search for an interim CEO is concerned, said that Sandeep Bakshi, by virtue of being the senior most executive in the ICICI Bank group companies, would be considered as the interim CEO. That is also something, that he at least has not been communicated to yet. We also spoke to Mr. Bakshi, but both of these outcomes are likely when that board meeting ends, and we should hear something from the bank, in a statement to the exchanges or whatsoever by today or in the next few days at least.
Okay, fair enough. So we can't really know what exactly is happening in that board meet till we get that official press release. A lot of ramblings, a lot of rumours. We will, of course, be on top of the story, and Ritu is going to be bringing us updates through the day. But for now, let's shift focus to telecom. The Idea-Vodafone merger is expected to cross another hurdle this week. It is reported that the Department of Telecom will likely issue a conditional nod to the merger this week. Nisha Poddar is here with the details. Nisha.
So it's been almost 2 years since we first reported that Idea and Vodafone are going to merge, and it's over a year since they actually announced it. So finally, it could really see the day, the light of the day, with the Department of Telecommunications giving it the final nod with 2,100 crore rupees as spectrum charges to be paid. Now, this will create the largest telecom company in the country, $23 billion worth of a company which has 430 million subscribers to begin with, 35% market share. As far as the challenges are concerned, well, the telecom sector is extremely competitive, pricing pressure is high, and this company, as a combined company, will start off with a debt pile of over 1 lakh crore rupees. So it is expected to be quite a cash guzzler. So that's going to be the key concern for this company going forward. But as far as the synergistic benefits are concerned, Vodafone and Idea, putting both their might together, could be better positioned to really fight the competition and also save costs. And on the other hand, the economies of scale and the synergies would be kicking in. In fact, telecom tower monetization is something which is already underway. ATC deal signed, and Indus Tower also merging with Bharti Infratel has also been announced. So that's really taken care of. But on 26th of June, the company is also going to ask the shareholders to approve them for raising 15,000 crore rupees extra, and over and above, remember, 6,750 crore rupees that Idea has recently infused into the company. So it's going to be a tough terrain, but largest telecom company is going to be created.
All right, Nisha, thanks for that. Let's get you a CNBC TV 18 exclusive interview then. Chairman of JSPL, Naveen Jintan, tells CNBC TV 18's Anshu Sharma that consultants have advised to demerge steel, power and overseas businesses. Here's a slice of that interview.
We have been advised by many people that presently JSPL has a very sizable power in it. JSPL has more than 5,000 megawatt power capacity in it. So it always, it's a natural thing for people to advise us that steel business should be separate and power business should be separate. So we are considering in the future, we are evaluating the various options, and after taking all the due approvals and taking all the stakeholders' view on board, we will like to do that in the future.
So you've often said that you're in the business of making steel and not divesting your assets. But if sources are to be believed, you're very close to selling your Africa mines. And could you tell us something about it?
So Africa mines is not a core asset to us. We do have an anthracite mine in South Africa, and we have a very big coal reserves, 6.5 billion tons. As much as the whole CAG report in India was talking about. So we have 6.5 billion just in Botswana. So these are some of the assets which are not really critical to our operations. So if we get the right price, we would look at divesting these.
But are you not actually in talks with investors to sell that? And if you are, what is the timeline and how much value will that be of?
So all these things I'm not supposed to disclose what value or who investors. There is interest by some investors. So let's see if it fructifies into something.
In 2015, I believe that consultants were brought in to ease the cross-holdings in each company. You and your brothers are share a quite a cordial relationship. What has happened to that?
Well, pretty much that exercise is already, it's over, it's complete. Already all the businesses, because during when my father was there, he had made the principles very clear. So there is everything. There's no issue between us brothers. There is a lot of love and respect for each other. So we all the time work with each other, support each other. So I mean, by God's grace, things are wonderful between the family, and we hope to keep it that way.
But has that winding of cross-holding in terms of leveraging your assets?
Well, even earlier there was no issue like that, and now things only become better.
The NIRAV Modi case is getting curiouser by the day. Over the past 1 week, Network 18 has been bringing you details of how the diamond heir, he accused the Punjab National Bank fraud, had been shuttling between Belgium and London on revoked passports. Now, in what could tantamount to a major digital security breach, the email account of CBI Joint Director Rajiv Singh, who heads the banking fraud division, was used to send out bulk emails last month. Nitisha Kashyap, who has been tracking the story, is here with the details, and she's joining in fact, from the CBI headquarters in Delhi. Nitisha, what are you picking up from your CBI sources?
Well, the CBI sources are confirming that the bulk email were sent out from Rajiv Singh's email ID. In fact, Rajiv Singh, who happens to be the joint director of banking fraud section, he was investigating the NIRAV Modi scam case. But interestingly, if you notice the timing of the day when the hacking was reported and his repatriation to home cadre, it raises a lot of questions. In fact, on May 16th, it was reported that bulk emails were sent out from his email ID. CERT the team alerted the investigative agency, after which his email ID was blocked. And just a week after this hacking and blocking of his email ID was reported, he was repatriated to his home cadre. While the CBI sources are saying that the repatriation to his home cadre is just because the home cadre wanted this particular police official. But the timing is raising a lot of questions. Just in between of the NIRAV Modi scam case, which happens to be one of the most important cases that the CBI is investigating right now. Just in between of that particular case, he is repatriated to his home cadre, and the CBI is saying that that repatriation is nowhere linked to this particular case.
Okay, thanks for breaking that up for us. In fact, we have Sanjay Surya also joining in from London. Sanjay, these developments come at a time when the CBI is pushing for a red corner notice against NIRAV Modi. What are you picking up from your sources at this point in time?
The timing of this leak is quite extraordinary. It is in recent weeks that the CBI has prepared an arrest warrant on NIRAV Modi after a long delay of several months. It is in recent days that it has moved Interpol with information and with a strong case, as it has assembled, it believes, to secure a red notice on NIRAV Modi, which would mean that authorities in the jurisdiction in which he is traced would be bound to carry out an arrest. At the same time, NIRAV Modi has been preparing his defense. He's hired some of the most expensive lawyers in the world, with Lalit Modi, an investor in one of the leading firms that is advising NIRAV Modi on how to prevent that red notice from being issued, which is to say how to save himself from the kind of arrest that would be imminent if the red notice were to be served. He's hired expensive lawyers with a view to fighting an eventual extradition case. At this time, and at this particular time, for there to have been a leak from the CBI from the account of the chief investigating officer is quite potentially alarming, to put it mildly. The CBI investigating NIRAV Modi is now investigating itself, investigating how it may have failed to properly investigate and prosecute the NIRAV Modi case.
Okay, Sanjay, thanks for that. Now let's get you a quick look at some of the other national headlines of the day. Delhi High Court questions AAP government protests, asks who authorized the protest by Kejriwal and his cabinet colleagues at the Lieutenant Governor's office. Meanwhile, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, who has been on fast at LG office since the 13th of June, has been hospitalized. In what is believed to be a bid to gather support for a Congress candidate for Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman's post, Congress leader Ahmed Patel meets Trinamool Chief Mamata Banerjee, but sources say there is no consensus yet on the joint opposition candidate for the post. The northwest monsoon, which hit Kerala 3 days ahead of schedule, has since seen a lull period. However, the Met Department now believes that a revival is expected in the next 5 to 6 days. IMD, remember, had also warned of heavy rainfall in the Konkan, Goa and coastal Karnataka coast. Moving on, we are focused on improving safety standards and punctuality in Indian Railways. That's the word coming in from Railway Minister Piyush Goyal. However, addressing the media to share the highlights of Railways' performance during the last 4 years, the minister also added that infra upgradation has led to train delays in recent times.
The Indian Railways has been very concerned about safety issues, because of which you saw significant steps being taken in the last 4 years to improve the safety track record. And thanks to that initiative, we have had the lowest number of accidents, consequential accidents, in the Indian Railways last year. While initiating significant steps to cover the backlog of several years and decades of infrastructure works, particularly works related to safety, have caused certain delays and loss of punctuality in the railways. We consistently work to bring technology into the system, and with effect from 1st April, we have ensured that the data logging at all critical interjunctions is now done through an automated data logger, because of which we have been able to identify the exact problems of punctuality that prevailed in the railways over several years.
In a shot in the arm to the real estate developers and residents in India's youngest state, Telangana, the state is ready to finally implement RERA within the fortnight. Government sources tell CNBC TV 18 that the testing of the web portal is complete and a glitch-free rollout is expected in July. Nitya Balakrishnan joins in now from Hyderabad with the latest update. Nitya, what are you picking up from your sources?
It's something that has been a long time coming, clearly, and it's a big boost for home buyers in Hyderabad, which incidentally happens to be one of the most promising real estate markets in the country. Now, we're given to understand from very senior sources in the state government that a trial run of the online web portal TRERA has been successful. This has been powered by Maha Online, and what we're picking up is that it is a glitch-free process in the last couple of days, and they are very confident of rolling out registrations under RERA come 1st of July. Now, categorically, what Telangana aims to do is be better than the 20-day window of clearance that is mandated under RERA. We're also given to understand that the entire process of registration, any problem or redressal of dispute, as well as any communication, will be completely carried out online, which means it will be a seamless digital portal as far as state government sources are to be believed. Also remember, Telangana is one of the last states when it comes to actually implementing, even though rules were notified way back in August. So what this really will mean is for new projects that are coming up, residential projects, they will have to be registered under RERA to actually be qualified. And now, apart from this, what we're also picking up is that it will be headquartered here in Hyderabad. The interim regulator will be Rajeshwar Tiwari, who is currently the Special Secretary in the Revenue Department here in the state. But a panel with representatives from judiciary as well as administrative side will be put in place. So it's definitely a shot in the arm, not just for real estate developers in the country who have been waiting, but also for residents. As far as government sources are indicating, there will be no dilution of the centre's norms. So that is a huge positive for homeowners here in Hyderabad and the rest of the state.
All right, Nitya, thanks for taking us through that. We'll take a quick look at some global headlines on that note. Top oil and gas suppliers, Saudi Arabia and Russia, are expected to announce a production hike this week. Now, reports suggest that at a meeting of top oil producers on the 22nd of June, both Saudi Arabia and Russia may push for higher output. The news has led to subdued crude oil prices. A strong earthquake of 5.9 magnitude on the Richter scale hits Japan's Osaka. The Japanese government says at least 3 people have been killed and more than 200 have been injured. Several train services remain suspended across the region and many roads also suffered severe damage. Audi CEO Rupert Stadler has been arrested in the diesel emission case. Munich protesters who have been investigating Audi's role in the 2015 scandal confirmed the arrest. They reasoned that the arrest was meant to avoid the risk of evidence tampering. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of After the Bell. Many thanks for watching this show. Stay tuned to CNBC TV 18 though. Markets Today Talkback will take all that and forward on the other side of this very short break. Don't go anywhere.